Hello, and welcome to Cutting Words. I'm Brad Thompson, and today I'd like to talk about something that's been back in my brain for a little while. I want to start this touching on is character backstory writing. So this is a topic I like to preface with, all options are valid. I'm just expressing the way I like to do things and try and encourage that style. But all options are perfectly valid. Now, what's really provoked me to make this video now is a few days ago I posted on Twitter something that I was thinking about at the time, where I asked, does anyone actually use the personality trait ideal, bond, and flaw sections in the character sheet? And this question was posed for player characters as well as NPCs. I expressed that NPCs, I feel like a one-line describer would do, with what's going on with them as well. But anyway, but the topic went more towards player character backstory, the response to the thread, and so I'm going to focus on player characters today. So without naming names or going into specifics, if you're really interested, you can look up the Twitter thread. So I'm not here to call out people. I just want to express the way I like things to be done. What really happened here was, someone responded with an article they wrote, published, which is quite flattering, really, saying it was inspired by my Twitter thread after a resounding response of everyone basically saying, yes, what are you talking about? We always use it. Players aren't just numbers, not just 18 stats and things, which I agree, and I can definitely see these little prompts, roleplay prompts, useful for people just strap for ideas, just want some ideas how to roleplay. I just find these prompts aren't very concisive to adding to the story, and I feel like there's a better way of doing it. There's a better way, in my opinion, of doing it. And so this person responded with an article, which I'm just going to open up now, where they go into how, as well as a fighter. They got an example here of a fighter who normally is a blank slate, which there's a whole nother topic to delve into one day. Where poor fighter, where they can interact with the roleplay phase more by thanks to their background, tools, proficiencies, and things like that. They can roleplay using their tools and talking about their hobbies or whatever. Okay, I guess you can, but to what end though? It doesn't seem like the most interesting roleplay to me. And so I proposed a different way of doing it. And so I responded to these with a quick backstory I threw together. So I was like, well and good, people just fill in those little things I listed out earlier, the bonds and flaws and whatever, and that's their character. I'm like, okay, but it doesn't take much to add that little bit more level of depth here. And so I literally 2 minutes flat, I threw together this example character. So I responded with, rather than tools and hobbies in a fighter example, how about this? This fighter is a prince in exile on the run from assassins, not knowing who they can trust with their secret identity among these new adventurers they find themselves with. They're trying to figure out where their allegiances lie, all the while getting used to this roughing it with these lower class folks, who they must now pretend to be one of. Their siblings also scattered to the winds. Hopefully they're safe and can be found before the usurper does. Then don't get me started on the family curse. Just like that, there's hardly anything at all. And with that, you're all playing with other players in the table, trying to figure out, would they side with you? Would they betray you to the usurper? Also trying to pretend to be, I'll be one of these lower. I'm one of you guys. Yes. I'll just have one caviar today. I mean, what? What do you mean? Yes. I mean, I was joking. You know, you got a bit of role play there of like someone who's completely out of their depth, and trying to pretend to be, you know, something they're not. As well as there's, you know, hooks there for the dungeon master to pull from and insert into the story. Missing siblings could be anywhere. But I think a better example, a better way of demonstrating this to you is I've thrown together a template, a character sheet template, for throwing together a very simple backstory, because you don't actually need, like, people think, oh, I can write a complex backstory or whatever, that's a novel. And it's like, well, it can be, but it doesn't have to be. You only a few bullet points, really, to suddenly you got so much more going on, and it doesn't take much. And this character's very tropey, and that's fine. You can do more complex examples that go against tropes and whatnot, but we won't go into a full writer's workshop today. Maybe down the road. But let me just get this up, this character sheet, and I will show you more what I'm talking about. So here's my example character sheet. Let's get a screen share. Boom! There we go. So I've got a little character sheet here. Woo! And this, I'll put a link to this character sheet, this example character I've thrown together into this template in 5 minutes flat. I'll put it down in the description of the video, so you're welcome to take this template, make your own, change categories that work for your game. And yeah, I think using the simple method here, you can make a really compelling character really easily. Alright, so we'll walk our way through this, what I've done here, and well, we'll go into more detail on this, different character examples in future videos, but we'll just stick with just our quick temp character here today, just to introduce the idea. So, we have, so name field, you know, Brad Thompson. Woo, that's me. Oh, by the way, this is a Google Doc, so it's easy to share. I do find Google Docs when we're running my games the best way of managing it, so I can easily get it up, share it with players, whatever, and it's easy for me as a DM to quickly look up things and take notes and help me edit, insert bits of their backstory into the game proper. So yes, the campaign itself, I just made up a name, A Fantastic Fantasy Land, but you know, it could be a Wild Beyond the Witchlight. It could be one of the many published adventures yonder. And another important aspect of running your character is writing character to fit into the setting, into that campaign and what. So working with the DM a bit there. But that is a topic. We'll get into more specific examples. Well, maybe we'll do some example characters for other campaign settings and get some ideas what's going on there. Now, name Prince Bramir. I did not practice saying this at all. Bramir Cloudbane. Completely just generated from a random fantasy name generator website I googled up. There's also plenty of names in the Xanathar's Guide to Everything book. There's plenty of other example names sites out there on the web. I recommend going for something you can say yourself quite easily, you can pronounce. Pro tip there, I tend to normally aim for simpler names. Fortunately, I don't have to use that name much because my character is in hiding. The prince is a prince in hiding, secret prince. So, classic backstory trope. I'm a secret prince, and I go by my clever alias, my secret identity. That the name I go by is Murphy Thunder. I bring the thunder. Murphy being a clever wordplay. Bramir. Anyway, and also Thunder and Cloudbane. No one would ever suspect a thing. So that's the alias, and that's the name. So I'd probably have this on my character sheet as well, in case any keen-eyed players sitting next to me would see. I would not use the prince name on the character sheet, at least initially, until my secret's out. And that would be, as far as I know, I'm just, you know, some random fighter here on my first adventure, which is sort of true. Of course, pronouns, he, him. Not playing with any other pronouns at the moment with this character. He's just he, him. So it's good to highlight that. get that right. Age, from at 28. Age isn't super important, I found, in Backstories, but it's nice to have a vague, rough idea. Like, you don't necessarily need specific numbers, and they can be adjusted based on story reasons. Like, oh, actually, it would work better if you're slightly older to fit this in the timeline if you go into the kind of minutia. But I find most adventures generally don't have to worry about that too much. Just a guide, an idea. Like, are you kind of young, old, whatever. Race, I stuck with human fighter. The classic vanilla combination here is my base example. I've actually never played a human fighter, but maybe one day I will. The ultimate blank slate, as they jokingly say. But yeah, we'll get into that later. But right now, so yeah, human fighter, okay. Background, noble. Though again, I might change the name on the official character sheet with the stats and things to say something else, just to hide that secret backstory aspect. Hometown, Never Sky, just a random kingdom name I made up that kind of fit the theme. Alignment today went for lawful good. I thought, proper, princely chap. So this is the way I've been raised to do things properly, like this, and for the betterment of the people, and all. Yes, that's why we're here to rule and all that. So I thought that alignment was suitable for this character. But there's arguments for other ones to be made. They're more of a guideline, and you might find as you start role playing the character at the table, going, actually, I thought it was lawful good, but actually, maybe I'm not really doing much good things here. I'm more just rule the land. Law is this. This is what's right, and maybe I'm falling more into lawful neutral, or who knows? Maybe law's out the window, maybe more chaotic. Screw the law rules, I'm doing this now. So I find alignment can be more of I think I'm going to roleplay the character this, but when after a game or two at the table, I might find, actually, maybe they're more like this. Now I've played them a little bit. So, but for right now, I thought lawful good is a good starting point for this character. Religion, even though it's a fighter, not a paladin or cleric or what have you, I still think it's important every character should have some faith behind them, unless they have a very good reason not to, especially in something like the Forgotten Realms, where it's like, it's pretty clear that gods are pretty awesome, they're doing awesome things, and the law of Forgotten Realms, which I won't get into now, is basically like, you should really be following God, what are you doing? But anyway, so I put Lathander as like the classic goody two-shoes, kind of tropey douche god who's like, yeah, I'm the best, I do everything, so they're my go-to. I threw in there for this, but there are plenty of great contenders out there. I recommend having a look. Okay, next, a field I employ, especially as a DM when I'm reading these character sheets as well, when players submit a character sheet and go, I just want to go at a glance, what's this character about? I just want one sentence. Can you tell me the character's about one sentence, please? So I know, get a quick idea of what I'm going for. And when getting a player to write this down also gets them in their head. What's the idea of what they're trying to achieve here? What's the story here they're trying to tell? What's their character in one sentence? So I just want to put a secret cursed prince in hiding, seeking to reclaim what his family has lost, while discovering how the other 99% live. And that covers the basis there in one sentence, the character in a nutshell, which is really, really neat. Now we get into some of the other goodies here. We've got greatest wish/desires. It's going to be more like goals even. So I've got here revenge on the usurper. Revenge story. It's a classic trope. Sure, let's whack it in there. Baron von Bad Guy. It's my bad guy name today. When naming characters, maybe have a discussion with your DM whether they DM might prefer to name all the NPCs in your backstory. They might, especially if they're running a pre-run adventure, maybe they want to change the names. Go, no, it's this character. There's an existing NPC in the adventure that fits. Vice versa, the DM might be like, please, commit names as an absolute bastard. I mean, just commit example names. Names aren't my strong point generally, but yeah, so sometimes DM's like, please take that burden from me. Please name the characters. Please, please, please. So have that conversation with your dungeon master to be on the same page there. So we've got revenge on the usurper, Baron von Bad Guy. Find all my lost family members scattered about, wherever they may be. Place the rightful heir on the throne. Maybe me. Maybe a sibling. options in the air. Depends on really also where the adventure goes. Like, is it an in-game goal, or is it more of a mid-adventure? Oh, okay, solve this part, the big plot thread. Now to put a sibling on the throne, or there's options there. But made it clear that I definitely am open to the fact of being put on the throne, if I must. And finally, lift the family curse. The extra kind of plot thread that is a bit separate from the rest. It's nice having a little bit something else going on that's not just all clumped. It's nice to keep things kind of connected, but also having a nice extra one as well, just a little trick up your sleeve for the DM as well is nice to have. So here's a mysterious family curse that DM could trigger wherever and have fun with. So another thing as well, just with these goals, also worth talking with the Dungeon Master. A lot of this should be covered in Session 0, ideally, about the scope of the adventure and, if you will be resolved in the adventure or not, what you're hoping to achieve here, and make sure you're on the same page. You might be like, I'm dead set on a revenge quest, that's the only thing I'm doing. DM might be like, well, we're actually never going to go to Never Sky, that's not a thing. We're actually doing a little short adventure here. You just want to be on the same page when writing your backstory, make sure things fit up, or you had the expectation that this will not be resolved, this is just more of a backstory kind of roleplay fluff, maybe resolved in an epilogue at some point later, or just get on the same page there to avoid future disappointment. Okay, greatest fear. So it's nice to have something here. So this is I got here, misplacing my trust in someone again, only to have them betray me like the Baron did. So I'm having a bit of setup here for this character, the prince, has trust issues. He trusted this Baron character who used that trust against him to betray his family and set about these horrible events in motion. And so since then he struggles to trust people, and he's trying to figure out if he can trust others now with a secret that he's secret at prince, or will they betray him again? So there's a basic fear there. There's other valid options like spiders or whatever, but generally having some story aspect to them is nice. And it gives nice options for the DM to create scenarios where those fears come to play, and you get the chance to roleplay that. You might be in some kind of trust scenario when you trust some random characters you just met, and it's like, oh, hold on, do I want to push past my fear here, or no, I can't trust these people. This is clearly a trap. It's always a trap. It's always assassins. Never again. And a chance for more role-playing, getting all that backstory out at dramatic moments throughout the campaign. It's fair there. Okay. So, reason for sticking with the adventuring party. So, you always want to have a strong reason for being together, especially if there's any difficult moments where your character's like, no, I won't refuse to trust these people, they're clearly assassins, and the player's like, bloody hell, this guy again, what are we putting up with this guy? Or vice versa, someone can do it to you. So for this I put with a very generic answer. Ideally it will be stronger, but I'll get into that in a sec. So the generic answer I've got here, which is pretty fitting for most characters, the best chance, basically sticking with this player's best chance to become strong enough to achieve my desires, overcoming the Baron, reclaiming my kingdom. Working with them will best serve these ends. Need allies and things. So that's why working these party members here, trying to see if I can trust them, we can work together, become strong together, and take back my throne. Sounds fantastic. It's pretty generic answer, really, but ideally be stronger bonds as well. Maybe one of the other party members is your sibling. One of your siblings is actually one of your party members, or they're connected in some other way like that. There's a stronger bond there. You want some stronger personal bonds. Ideally a web, everyone in the party has connections to maybe two others, and there's a web of trust going on for different various reasons, and it holds you together. That is the ideal scenario. But worst comes to worst, maybe you didn't have a session 0 more, maybe it's more of a one-off or quickly thrown together situation. A generic one like that will do the job. But ideally you want to work with others, especially in session 0 and things, and come up with a great intercrossing web of story hooks there to keep you bonded. Because you definitely want to avoid those moments where it's like, hold on, why am I sticking with these people? What's going on? And trying to have a metagame option to get around it. Because you will know, you can't just, we're at a table together with friends here, we can't just, split the party randomly and then the game splits or something weird like that. This just doesn't work. You need to have ideally strong reasons in character and to go with the out. Okay. So, at least one NPC you care about and why. Got to have some characters for the Dungeon Master to disperse. Ideally, a lot of these characters aren't location tied, so then the DM has plenty of scope to stick these characters anywhere. Because as soon as you say, oh, so and so who lives at a house in whatever city, you're gonna, and depending on what the character is, struggle to potentially move it around. The players never go there. Hard to do anything with that. So in this example here, I got my younger brothers, Brumer and Brumer, original naming here, and my younger sisters, Belma and Bulma. I love my missing siblings despite them being very ambitious and political at times. So basically I've set them up here to be, the DM can take these siblings and do what they want with them, give them extra personality and depth to them. If the DM's like, please give me more, that's fine. I left it very vague in this example here, which most DMs I think I should be happy with. Cool, I got scope to do what I want with these characters, and potentially update the backstory here. Beauty of being a Google Doc, I can add comments, I can add little bits here saying, hey, your brother's this, you know them to be like this. Yeah, they're a great power wizard or whatever. And I set them up here to be, even though I love my siblings and they're missing and trying to find them, not all of them are necessarily good people. They might want to through for themselves by any means necessary. Like that random bandit captain, we might come up, leading a bandit group, a gang, on the road. That bandit captain might be my, brother. Like, oh my gosh. And he's like, yes, brother is I, haha, dramatic moment. And, but I will do whatever it takes. You won't stand in my way, get the throne. What are you doing, brother? We should work together. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, suddenly we've got this back and forth. This random bandit encounter suddenly so much more. And just having these little extra easy drop-in hooks can just add that extra level to an adventure, to a campaign, to a session, to add to the depths of roleplay. And suddenly after that bandit fight, rather than just like we beat these bandits and we leave or whatever, it's like, okay, whatever, speed up on the road. But this case, like, oh my gosh, that bandit captain I forced to kill was my missing brother. Why do you make me do this? Oh my gosh. And there's a whole roleplay there, like, who was that guy? Why do you care about this guy? Oh, he was my brother. And suddenly you hint more about your secret backstory, being a secret prince or whatever. It just adds so much more avenue for fun. I mean, it's just so simple. And that's why we're here today, to showcase this simple system, just to add more to your games. Okay, so that is some NPCs. Here is the backstory. Woohoo! So I kept it super simple. You can write novels if you want, but I find, generally speaking, as a DM, just a few bullet points carrying the key stuff works. And all the extra detail, like, I don't need to know super specifics because I can't really use that much story. You can roleplay that and add that depth through just general roleplay with other people at the table, but all I care about is certain things. So here's the bare bones, super basic backstory thrown together for this Prince Bramur. So Prince Bramur was the eldest child of the king and queen of the kingdom of Never Sky. Generally recommend naming the parents, but for this case, I was like, king and queen's fine. The DM might want to name them if they're using this kingdom some major way, but I should talk to them about that. Bramur's trusted friend and mentor, Baron von Bad Guy, trained by to be a fighter. That's how he learned his initial fighting skills. Used the prince's trust to betray the royal family, usurping the throne of Never Sky. Oh, that fiend. When usurper's forces stormed the castle, Bramur and his 4 siblings managed to escape and scatter to the winds. However, they were all separated and Bramur had no idea where they are. So their siblings could be anywhere in the world. Easy enough to do. So many options. Juicy, juicy hooks. Open hooks. So good. The fate of Bramur's parents is unknown. Last he saw them, they were fortifying themselves in the throne room. So, there's plenty of scope here. Like, don't, as tempting as it is in the story, let's see it. It's killing parents off screen ahead of time isn't great. It's nice leaving the hook open, so there's plenty of scope to do. I mean, you can, especially in the story, you could, easy enough. But why wall off that thread, that plot hook there? We can leave it open and find out later if they're dead or not. Seems more exciting to me. So maybe the Baron get locked up in the dungeon, Man in Iron Mask style. Maybe, he killed them. Maybe did something with them. Who knows? What happened to them? Maybe someone else intervened and absconded with them as well. Teleported away at the last moment. Who knows? And now there's a whole quest line to find out what happened. What happened on that fateful night the night the usurper came. And that's just one bullet point. Like, each bullet point here, and try and make it as, the bullet point needs to be justified. If the bullet point's like, does this add a plot hook or like necessary information? If it doesn't, it should go. I don't need it. So there's that. Boromir has gone into hiding, coming up with a secret identity for himself, Murphy Thunder. He is taken to a life of adventure. He is working hard badly to pretend to be the lower class while figuring out who he can trust with a secret. It's just more just covering the stuff we talked about and make sure concisely is there. And then we got, finally, the final hook that's a bit separate from the rest, just to have a bit of extra spice, a bit of seasoning to this backstory. When he was a child growing up, his mother always warned him of a mysterious family curse that would take effect when he was older. He's not sure on the details beyond this, but doesn't like the sound of that. So this is his family curse, extra plot thread through in here, which maybe affects just Romero, maybe affects the whole family, siblings, who knows. So unless it's vague, the DM could take this into whatever with. Is it lycanthropy? Is it something completely else? Maybe some bad family deal with a hag, or maybe the kingdom was never theirs in the first place. They made a hag deal for the kingdom, and this Baron usurpers actually the rightful heirs got usurped because of the hag's magic. Who knows? There's lots of options there. Though, if you're doing a complete twist on someone's backstory, you might want to check some of that, because doing major changes to someone's backstory, even let you open hooks, can be a tricky business. So it's best to kind of feel out what they want from the story and what they're open to, without obviously giving too much away on what twisty plans you might have, and just make sure they're happy with, it is tricky business when you're making a backstory complete lies. You don't want to do that to a player. But doing clever twists and making sure they're okay with that, by all means. So that's an extra open curse detail there. So that's it. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullet points. Also note I bold NPC names, so the DM can quickly find where's that NPC. Right, bad for a bad guy. Okay, he's his mentor and trusted friend overthrew. Cool. Okay, now I know that. Just for a DM on the fly, trying to look up something here. Bolding character NPC names is very helpful for quickly finding that, especially if it is a longer backstory. So you can write longer ones, like I've definitely written 3 or 4 pages like this with bullet points, but you really don't need to. That is perfectly serviceable for a good length campaign. There's plenty going on here, and you could, do more if you wanted, but that does the job. You got a lot into roleplay with your other players about your secret stuff going on. You got secret reveals, and hints of what's going on. You got the curse that might play out depending on what happens with the curse, and talk to your DM as well. The DM might be like, oh, bloody hell, I don't want to read a curse. You come up with the curse, you write the curse, and come up with there. And maybe you don't know the curse details in character. Maybe I'll change things. They might want some examples. So, again, it's something that conversation with your DM, and it depends on the DM's style. But, some DMs want more details, some want less, and have more options and scope to do what they want. It's something you need to have a conversation with. And it's probably the biggest thing to take away, really, is communication and trust. Make sure you communicate with your DM. Clearly what you want to go for here, and whether that fits their game they want to run, and make sure all the expectations are correct, and it should be a recipe for a good time. So that's my quick overview of making a quick character, and how little and easy it is to just add the extra depth and layers to a character beyond just the personality traits, bond flaws and whatnot. I mean, you can still use those. You can use those as well as this. Use both if you want. I always found I wrote this, and then from that, I kind of get an idea of how I roll for the character, what my bonds and flaws and personality traits may be, maybe by a different name, but I found I didn't need the example prompts in the sheet that D&D provides. So I've just found drawing this up, coming up with the story I want to tell here, about my secret cursed prince in hiding, seeking to reclaim what his family is lost, or discovering how the other 99% live, is enough for me. But there's also, you could take those prompts from the D&D, personality, traits, flaws, bonds, and you could use that for inspiration for writing this. You could start with that and expand into this and have a backstory that way. So that's my lesson today about the style of character writing I like in my D&D games and the D&D adventures I run. I get my players to fill in a sheet like this and submit that to me, and I use that for my adventures. And I think it is a great resource that other tables should look at employing as well, if they don't do so already in various forms. And bullet points, 100% bullet points is the way to go. Don't write a novel, please. Bullet points. Because the amount of times as a DM have to re-look up stuff, I don't want to read through a novel, try to find the exact bit I'm looking for. Clear bullet points. Lifesaver. Alright. Cool. That's me for my advice, ranty, informative video today. Thanks for tuning in to Cutting Words. I'm your host, Brad Thompson, and I hope you learned something today, and I hope that helps your games. Alright, catch you around at the next video. Alright, ciao.